Ever feel like you're playing the game of life on, hard mode? You're grinding away, you're putting in the hours, but you're just not leveling up. It really feels like the game is bugged, and you're just stuck. Well, what if I told you you're not stuck? You're just playing in the wrong world.
I mean, think about it. You're running the same daily quests over and over. You're fighting the same mobs in the same super crowded zone. And let's be honest, the loot drops are getting worse and worse. You're just competing with everybody for the same limited resources, and it's draining your mana for practically 0 XP. But what if there was a strategy guide? A legendary tome that doesn't just teach you how to win the current game, but how to create a whole new one just for you. Well, this is that guide. So forget business school. Today, we're treating Blue Ocean Strategy as the ultimate patch note for the game of life.
And here's the core concept. Most of us are fighting in what the guide calls red oceans. Just picture these massive free-for-all PvP zones. Everyone is battling everyone, the water is bloody with competition, and winning, it just means you beat someone else down. The whole mission of this guide is to help you escape all that and create a blue ocean, an entirely new world where you make the rules. There are no competitors, and all the rewards are yours for the taking.
So how do you actually discover this new world, right? How do you do it? Well, the guide lays out 5 main quests. If you complete these, it'll fundamentally change your character's build and unlock brand new parts of the map you never even knew existed. Our first quest is the Alternate Reality Quest. Now, the mission here is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Stop looking at your direct rivals. Instead, start looking at alternatives. The different games that players use to achieve the very same objective. A perfect example of this is Cirque du Soleil. See, players looking for a fun night out could go to the circus, or they could go to the theater. Cirque du Soleil completed this quest by looking at both and creating a hybrid that had never been seen before. They took the best buffs from theater, like the theme and the artistry, and they combined them with the best buffs from the circus, like the amazing acrobatics, while getting rid of the high-cost stuff that people didn't value as much, like the animal acts. The key here is to avoid the industry tunnel vision debuff. That's what keeps you stuck in that bloody red ocean. All right, next up, Level 2, the Class Jumper Quest. Your mission here is to look at all the different player classes that are already in your current game. Think premium versus budget builds. And then create a totally new hybrid class. For instance, in the housing industry, you basically had 2 options: low-cost, pretty low-quality prefab homes, or super high-cost, high-quality developer homes. Well, Champion Enterprises created a new class by smashing them together. They offered the speed and the low cost of a prefab home, but then they added these high-end buffs like fireplaces and skylights. They completely broke the rules of their segment. The trap here is believing that you have to stay in your designated class. You don't.
Okay, Level 3 is the End User Quest. In most industries, there's a whole chain of people involved, right? You've got the buyer, the influencer, and the actual user. This mission is all about shifting your focus to the true end user, the player.
Novo Nordisk is a fantastic example. The insulin industry was totally obsessed with impressing the gatekeepers, the doctors. But Novo Nordisk, they focused on the player, the patient, and their daily struggles. And the result was the Novo Pen. It looked like a fountain pen, and it made taking insulin simple and, really importantly, discreet. They solved the player's problem, not just the gatekeepers, and they created a massive blue ocean in diabetes care. Time for a Respec. Level 4 is all about reallocating your skill points. If your whole industry is built on function and stats, what happens if you add some emotional skills? And if it's all about emotional appeal, what if you just maxed out your functional stats instead?
And this shows it perfectly. The average barbershop was just loaded with emotional skills. Hot towels, long chats, shoulder rubs, the whole thing. But QB House realized a lot of players just wanted a fast, efficient haircut. So they respec'd their entire build. They got rid of all the emotional fluff and maxed out functional stats like speed, hygiene, and even a traffic light system to show when they were available. They turned a 1-hour experience into a 10-minute one and created a brand new market. Our final quest is Level 5, the Time Traveler. This is all about looking ahead, spotting those irreversible trends, and building your strategy for the next major game update, not just playing the current one.
Think about Apple. They didn't just react to the Napster patch, they saw the huge, irreversible trend toward digital music, and they built an entirely new ecosystem for it with iTunes. They offered legal, high-quality, single-song downloads when literally everyone else was either suing file sharers or still trying to sell physical CDs. They were playing for the future, not for the present. So, you've completed the 5 quests. You've got a map to a new blue ocean. But there's often one final boss that's way tougher than any external competitor.
What do you do when the biggest obstacle is your own guild? You know, the people in your organization who are resistant to change, who tell you there aren't enough resources, or who are just totally stuck in the old way of playing the game.
Well, for that, the guide offers a cheat code. It's called Tipping Point Leadership. You can think of it as a power-up that lets you just smash through all those internal hurdles really quickly, using the resources you already have.
And this cheat code is specifically designed to defeat the 4 great raid bosses of any organization. First up, you've got the cognitive boss, which makes your team blind to the need for change. Second, the resource dragon, who's always hoarding gold and saying there's never enough. Third is the motivation golem, your uninspired, demoralized staff. And finally, the multi-headed political hydra, with all its vested interests fighting you at every single turn.
So how does it work? Well, conventional wisdom says to change the whole army, you have to push the entire mass forward at once, which takes forever and costs a fortune. The cheat code is to focus on the extremes, the people, the actions, and the activities that have a disproportionate influence on performance. You don't move the whole army. You just inspire a few key champions. You neutralize a few key blockers, and the rest, they'll follow.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this super actionable. Here is your new daily quest log to get you started on this like right now. First, map your current skill tree. Literally draw a strategy canvas, just like the one we saw for QB House. What stats is your industry investing in? Second, recalibrate your build using the 4 actions framework. What skills can you eliminate or reduce? What can you raise or even create to forge a new path? And third, scan the world map. Use the Pioneer, Migrator, Settler framework to identify where your current offerings are and where those unexplored blue oceans might be hiding.
And because no quest is complete without a reward, we've got some legendary loot for you.
We've condensed all the key frameworks into a simple 1-page PDF. It's your own personal strategy guide to help you track your stats and complete these quests. The download link is right there in the description, and it's totally free.
So the only question left is, what new world will you create? The game isn't bugged. It turns out you have the power to write a new one. If this guide helped you level up, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button to help our guild grow and reach more players. Good luck out there, Player One.